2, ink will go bad. How do you tell if it's gone bad? Well, at first it smells very sweet, but once it's gone bad, it has a very, very distinct, nasty odor. As you can see, I forgot to cap my bottle. Oops. Now I'm going to talk about the cartridge pin and how it works. There are 3 parts of the cartridge pin: the body, the nib, and the cartridge itself. 4 if you count the lid for the pen. Now, when loading your cartridge, you take the cartridge and push it into the nib. This will open the cartridge, which can never totally be sealed again. That's why I'm not going to be doing this part of the